Hello, everybody, and welcome back to USA Karate's Meet Our Olympic Hopefuls series, where each week we will be getting to know one of our 8 Olympic hopefuls. Today, we are sitting down with Ariel Torres, who will be representing Team USA at the Paris Olympic Qualifier for his chance to compete at the Tokyo Olympic Games this coming summer. Ariel will be representing Team USA in the Male Kata division. Kata is a solo discipline in which athletes perform a set, choreographed series of movements. Competitors are judged based on elements including strength, speed, balance, and technical aspects such as stances, techniques, and breathing. Ariel is a 4-time senior national team member with a range of accomplishments under his belt. He's a 2-time senior national champion and 4-time junior national champion. Ariel has also made his mark internationally, taking home gold at the Senior Pan American Championships in 2019, and also brought home silver for Team USA at the 2019 Pan American Games. He is currently ranked 10th in the WKF standings and 12th in the Tokyo 2020 standings. Welcome, Ariel. Thank you so much for being here today. We're so excited to have you.
It's a pleasure to be here.
All right, so jumping right in, I thought we could talk about your karate career thus far. So we want to start about how did you get started with karate and why?
Okay, so when I was a little kid, I still live in the same house where I first started doing karate and everything. The doctors told my parents, he's like, hey, Ariel has an attention disorder. He doesn't pay attention very well. He's distracted all the time. I really couldn't focus more than 5 minutes on any task. And I mean, I didn't know it when I was a kid. Now I'm like, I see, I understand. But I couldn't even like reading in school was very complicated because I'll read and then I would just be like, why am I doing this? Why? What's the point? I don't understand. And the doctors were like, hey, you should take him into not soccer, not basketball, something that requires discipline and focus, like a martial arts, taekwondo, judo, karate. And then my mom was like, what? There's a karate school 2 blocks from my house. Now, back in the day, we're very poor. We don't have a car. We really can't drive anywhere. So we had to pick the closest thing to us, which was a karate school. It was like a 20-minute walk, I think. And my mom and I would walk there every day. And when I got in there, I was like, whoa, we're like punching and kicking together. It's so cool. I want to do that. And I want to be better than everyone here. I want to kick stronger and be faster. And then I just got in there and I loved it. And after a year or two, I was just like, whoa, I never want to stop doing this. I would go home. Like most of the little kids go home, they start doing karate, they start doing their blocks. And everywhere I walked, until this day, I still haven't stopped. I walk around doing kata. I walk around throwing punches and kicks whether I'm in the mall or I'm in the supermarket. I'm always doing karate. So ever since I was a kid, the love has been there. Yeah.
And then what drew you to kata specifically? Why did you choose to compete as a kata athlete as opposed to a kumite athlete?
So actually, it may come to a surprise to many people because I didn't choose. If I would have picked back in the day, I would have picked Kumite. So what happened was I went to the Pan American Championship, the Junior Pan American Championship back in 2015 in Bolivia, and I actually qualified for both kata and Kumite. And I made it to the finals in kata, and we then had to fight that same day. And I was fighting. I won my round 1, round 2, round 3, round 4, and in round 4 I got injured. I got kicked in the groin really hard. I got dropped to the floor. Then I hurt my leg while fighting. So in the fight I got really injured. 2 minutes later, I had to fight for gold medal in kata finals, and I lost. I lost 3-2. Maybe if I wasn't hurt, I would have won 3-2. Maybe it wouldn't have changed anything about the situation. But once I got home, my sensei is like, listen, you're not going to do kumite anymore. You're going to do kata. And he's my sensei. I don't argue. I was 18 and I'm just like, hi, okay, if you say so. I'm not even going to ask you why. I liked fighting more because I didn't have, I don't know. It was easier. It was more fun to train for me. I didn't have to be stuck in a room doing the same thing again and again and again and again and again. And so he chose for me. And over time, I was just like, whoa, I really like this more and more and more. And before I knew it, I couldn't live without it. Fighting was fun, but kata had a different passion that it brought out something else from me that kumite couldn't bring out. Then it was that perfection, that a striving to be better. And also there are many different styles of karate out there, many different organizations, and the way I was brought up, my family raised me very well in the sense of like, values and all those things. But we didn't have much money. We really couldn't afford being on Team USA as a kid. I couldn't afford traveling to all those competitions. I couldn't afford I couldn't afford much. I mean, literally, we would pick up money in the street, like 3 blocks away from my house. We would pick up money in my gi. I still have the thing we used to pick up money to go to Las Vegas for the U.S. Open back in 2010. I couldn't afford it, and my sensei said, "I have a way for you to make money too. We're gonna go to these other competitions, and you're gonna make money by winning them as an adult. We're gonna hit all these competition circuits, and you're gonna win. You're gonna make $100. You're gonna win here. You're gonna make 500. You're gonna win here. You're gonna make 400." And before I knew it, I was making money with kata. And you couldn't do that with kumite back in the day. We're talking about when I was like 16 years old. And I was making money here, making money there. And I would use that money to then put it into my karate, to then travel to the US Open the next year, so that my family wouldn't have to sacrifice their job or working and picking money up in the street. And so that they didn't have to do that, I just made karate kind of my job, and I would compete, and then I would go to Orlando and compete in Orlando, make more money, and I would start winning all these big other organization competitions to make the funds for all my travel. And before I knew it, it was 2017, and I went to my first Olympic qualifying event, and I paid for it all. It was very expensive, but I was so proud, and that's where it all started for me after I went to a competition, because I paid it off by myself, and I knew that my sensei made the right choice for me. One, I wouldn't get hurt anymore, and two, I was able to make a stable life. Until this day, I'm still doing what he did for me. He made me go to these competitions to make the money, and there was more of a demand for kata senseis, and to teach kata online was easier than to teach kumite online. And when you look at it, there's only 2 kata divisions. There's male kata, female kata. And then in kumite, there were 6 kumite divisions, 3 female, and now there's 3 female and 3 male for the Olympics. So now you have 6 fighters opposed to 2 kata people. The demand for the kata people is going to be more. And this is the way he explained to me growing up. I didn't understand. Now I'm like, there's always going to be more demand for kata people. And he said, I'm picking kata for you. You stay safe, and 2, you can make all the funds you need for the future to live off of what you love. And I was like, all right, understood. Yeah.
Awesome. And then, as someone who has competed at a lot of competitions during your career, what would you say you love most about competitions? And if you had to pick one, which would you say is your favorite one so far?
About competition, I think what I love most is the sacrifice and the results. More than anything, I always liked seeing that I improved from the last competition, because, like I said, I never won a lot. And to this day, I still lose a lot. And it's no big deal for me, as long as I can review my kata and I see that I improved. And as long as I'm improving from the last competition, I'm happy. Because in my book, that's a win for me. I'm improving. So what I like the most about competition, obviously you want to win. And I love to win. I love to just be like, oh, that adrenaline, the heart's pumping, and oh, yes, you won, yeah, and you have to hold it, and you're like, yes. So I guess that's what I love the most, obviously winning, but all the hard work I had to put in beforehand is all worth it at the end. And I don't know, the adrenaline is my favorite thing. And out of all the competitions, I love the Pan American Games in Peru, in Lima. Oh, I don't think I can describe the feeling it felt like I was like pre Olympic Games. That's what it felt like to me. Pre-Olympic Games, yeah.
And when it comes to competition and you leave and you don't exactly get what you want out of them, how do you leave with a positive attitude, or do you?
Well, that is actually a great question. I was never asked that before, but like I said, I've lost a lot, right? But sometimes it really, really hurts, and you just feel like really bad. You feel like you're not good enough. Like I said, that's my fear. So thankfully now, with the pointing system, I can view it a little differently. Before, like back in 2017, I went to a competition in Guadalajara. It was called Series A Guadalajara, and there were 200 plus competitors. It was a huge competition. And I remember I was warming up, and I was watching all the Japanese athletes warm up, and I was like, wow, these guys are too good.
how am I even gonna beat them? How am I wanted to quit. I was just like, I'm never gonna be good enough. I'm never gonna make it to their level. Why am I even here? And before I was like, okay, whatever. I'm just gonna compete. And then I won round 1 against someone from another country. It was Belgium. Then I won round 2 against a guy from Netherlands. Then I won round 3 against a guy from France. And then I was like, okay, I'm beating people from other countries. That's good. That's a good sign. And then I go to round 4, I lose to Japan. And I was like, okay, that's fine. Before I knew it, the next competition I went against Japan, and I took a flag, a single flag. I was disappointed that I lost because I'm losing. I'm going to all these competitions and I'm coming back with nothing. But the way that competition, I won 3 rounds. The next one I won 1 round, and then I lost 2 rounds, and then I lost to Japan. But I took a flag, and I took that flag home, and I was like, well, okay, there was one person that thought I was better than the Japanese guy. Okay, that's good. I can work with that because you never know if there was another person and another one and another one, and then one day all those 4 people would be sitting down, or 5, and they would all vote for me. You never know. And now with the point system, I can get last place, I can get second to last, I can get first. Doesn't matter, because there was one competition in Salzburg, 2019, where there were 285 competitors. It was the biggest Series A ever. And I made it to the semifinals. In the semifinals, there were 8 people in my side of the pool. And I remember there were great competitors. There was like Moto Kazumasa, which is the number 2 guy from Japan now, and other Japanese athletes that I looked up to. Literally, like, I was 9 years old and I loved those guys. I'm like, I want to be like that guy. And there was one judge. I got last place in the semifinals. There was one judge that thought I was better than all of them. He gave me like a 9.4 and gave everyone else like a 9.2. I forget exactly the number, but I remember he gave me a higher score than everyone else. So I left and I lost, but I was like, there was this one judge that thought I was better than everyone. Okay, you never know if in the future there are another 5 judges sitting down, and all those 5 happen to be the ones that thought I'm better than them. And that's the way I always kept up my spirits. And even the last competition I went to was Salzburg, and I lost. No big deal. But when I look at the judges, I was like, there was one judge that thought I was better than the number 1 guy in the world, ranked in the world. So I'm like, okay, there's one guy that thinks I'm better than the number 1 guy in the world. There might be a few more. And maybe when the time comes and the stars align and the planets or whatever, yada, 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 you never know if they happen to be in my panel in the Olympic qualifier. All of them, all the ones that thought I was better than all of them. And then they all happened to sit down right then, right there when I needed it most. And then I qualify. You see? So the way I no matter how upsetting the loss may be, I always try to find something positive. Whether it was one judge, thankfully to this day, there was at least always one judge. I can find something positive about the result. Yeah.
Based on your answer, I'm very curious. Would you say that you take more away from the matches that you win or those that you lose?
The ones that I win, definitely. I take more from. The ones that I lose, I get sad and I get upset. But the ones that I win just drive me more. And it's something that stacks up. It's like I'm winning. I keep going. I keep pushing. The more I win, the more unstoppable I feel. So example, I'll give you a great example. In Shanghai, in 2019, I was in a seriously difficult pool. It was 12 of us. It was round 1. We have the number 1 guy in the world ranked. We have people in the top 10, right? Like, it was literally like ex-world medalist that won silver in the world championships. I think I had in total, there were a lot of world medals in that pool. We have the guy from France, Mindak, that got 2nd, 3rd. There's a bunch of stuff. There was a guy from Germany, Ilja. There was the world champion. There was his teammates from Japan. So it was a stacked pool. And being next to the world champion, Ryukyuna, in the warm-up area, I felt this sense of like, I want to beat him. And I really want to be better. And I want to really, really be better. And I was always next to him, just trying to feed off of his energy, his vibe. And once I went on the tatami, I hadn't beat Japan. I had it. And I remember I beat his teammate. I got 2nd place behind Kuna. But there was a judge that actually tied me with Kuna. Like, he gave us the same exact score. And I was like, okay, I won that round. I make it to round 2. Now I am motivated. I am like, nothing's going to stop me. Round 2, I go against Antonio Diaz. And he's in the pool. It was Antonio Diaz, myself, and 6 other Japanese in round 2. I was like, what? Okay. Well, I after winning round 1, I felt unstoppable round 2. I was like, it's fine. It's gonna be round 2. It's gonna be me and I don't know who else. And that's all it was. Round 2, I win. I came behind Rio Kuna, of course, and I make it to round 3. Round 3, it was only 4 of us. It was Antonio Diaz, myself, Rio Kuna, and now the number 3 guy from Japan, Shinbaba. And I was like, whoa, I made it to the semifinals. And it's against Antonio Diaz again. I happened to win, and I qualified for the bronze medal match by 0.04. But I felt like the more I won, every round that I was able to pass and pass and pass, I was able to like evolve. I grew from the experience of winning. Yes, I grow from experience of losing, but definitely not the same as when I win. When I win, I grow a lot faster, and it's a confidence thing maybe, because I'm not too confident in myself until I start to win. And that's why this whole time off has been good for me, because I've gotten to understand myself more and believe in myself a little bit more and the work I've put in.
Do you think you found a lot of success in taking things step by step, like you were just explaining? Does that seem to help you when you go about measuring your own success and being able to perform better?
Definitely. I mean, at first it wasn't like, I'm going to go to the Olympics. No, it started with, hey, it started with getting my first senior medal. I didn't think I was going to get a medal, and I got a medal back in 2000. That's a good question. 2016. Yeah, 2016. I was just 18 years old. Yeah, 18. And yeah, I was 18. And I made it all the way to the finals of the national championships, and I qualified for the team trials. And I was like, I'm not going to go to team trials. I'm not even going to win, so there's no point. And then I ended up going to team trials. I ended up getting second place, and I made national team. I was like, whoa, that's step 1 done. Okay. And then when I went to all these Series A's, it was just lose to anyone. I cannot lose to anyone except Japan. I cannot lose. If I lose to someone but Japan, very disappointing. Or, I mean, the number 1 guy, the Spaniard, or obviously the people that are top 10 ranking, that have a big name. But I can't lose to anyone that is not Japanese or well-known ranking-wise. And that kept me going. And I actually never lost to anyone that wasn't well-known, someone that wasn't in the top 10. I always lost to the great ones, the actual best ones. And that gave me a lot of motivation. Even if I lost to anyone from Japan, as long as I got a flag, it was fine. Or if they were Japan, it was fine if I lost to them. But yeah, definitely taking it step by step before you know it. Step. You're going to be up there as long as it's slow and surely. You can't stop. You got to keep going. You never know. If you take a big jump, you might miss a step and fall back down. So I always took it slow. 1 flag. I never got greedy. I never said, oh, and then with now with the whole point system, it was just, I want to pass round 1. I want to pass round 1. If I pass round 1, I'm happy. If I don't, I'll be upset. But I usually pass round one, and if I lose, okay. But I say I was happy if I passed round 1. And yeah, step by step, I feel like that's what has helped me be where I am now.
And moving right along, we wanted to talk to all of our athletes specifically about COVID-19 and its effect that it's had on you and all of your training. How were you personally impacted by COVID-19, and what changes, if any, did you have to make in order to be successful during 2020?
So during COVID, everything closed down in my area. The dojo closed down for the students, but not for myself. My sensei knew that I'm very serious about the Olympics. He knew that I wouldn't risk it. I wouldn't risk getting sick, and I separated myself from my family. No contact with anyone. We talked and we spoke, and we're like, hey, this is very serious, and I can't get sick. And my sense is like, okay, we're gonna go and I went to the dojo every day. I did not miss a single day of going to the dojo and training. And I had a training partner at the time, Grace Lau. She's the number 4 ranked in the whole world right now, and I was training with her every day. And having someone that's that much better than me, kind of motivates you and pushes you, and having the opportunity to learn from my sensei Robert Young, having the opportunity to learn more from him every day, while others couldn't train. I mean, I understand it's a sensitive situation and many people suffer from it, but for me, it wasn't necessarily a bad thing for me. It was I took advantage of the situation and I grew. I grew my karate. I grew my body. I started doing more weights. I'd never done weights. I've always focused on just techniques. But now I was able to find the time while I was traveling to change my body, to hone my body, to make it improve, to make it stronger, and to learn new things about myself and my body and my new techniques. And I was able to grow. So during COVID, all I've been doing is improving every day, definitely.
And we've also seen that you hosted your first online kata seminar back in May. Do you want to talk about some of the things that you've really taken advantage of during this time?
So thankfully, I've been able to work teaching kids from all over the world, from the UK, from Canada, from Mexico, from all parts of the world. I've been given an opportunity to share the knowledge that has been passed down to me by my sensei. And I mean, the seminar is great. It's an incredible way to interact with everyone from around the world. We all do the same sport. We all do or sport or tradition, whatever way you want to think about it. We all do the same thing and we all love it. We do karate, and being able to share your experiences and share what you know with other people to help them grow as well really helps you develop as an individual. It's not only about practicing karate. If you can do karate and you can teach karate are two different things. And I've improved as a teacher. And to this day, I'm still teaching kids and athletes that are on national teams all over the world. And being able to explain to them the techniques that I do in different levels and different ways has been able to enhance my karate and my understanding of the techniques, which helps me on. I look at it as training. So the more I teach, the more I'm training. Obviously, I don't count it as a part of my training, but the way I teach these kids, I can see the technique better. I can see my mistakes in them, and then I have to avoid from doing them myself to make sure I can, tell them, hey, don't do that because it's wrong or whatever. So yeah, the seminars are great, and I actually have one coming up at the end of January, another one. So yeah, it's gonna be good.
After speaking with a number of athletes so far, one issue that a lot of athletes have either struggled with or truly appreciated was having a break from your normally hectic schedule. As elite athletes, you're traveling and training basically around the clock during your on season. And then once the pandemic hit, your crazy schedules came to a halt. Did you have a hard time adjusting to this kind of new normal that you found yourself in?
Um, Definitely not. I mean, I was just so happy to be home. I wouldn't see my family sometimes for months because I was just everywhere. Go home for 2 days and I wouldn't see them. I'd just go train the moment I got home. So, and the about competition thing, I would compete. I would compete not online, but I would compete against my training partner, Grace Lau. We would do like a competition every month, and we would treat it the same way as a tournament. I would wake up, do my hair, get a haircut, do everything I would do before a competition. Wear my tracksuit, walk to the venue, which was the dojo. Eat the night before the way I want to, sightsee. I would literally go through everything I would do before a competition, and then we would compete, and we would have some judges from around the world, and give their opinions like, hey, who would win between her and myself, and yeah, so I did not have a problem with it. I loved it. It was just like I said, I took it as an opportunity, and I took full advantage of every chance I could.
With this year's event season coming up, which feels like right around the corner from right
Yep.
now, but what do the next few weeks and months look like for you in terms of training? Is it more of the same? Or are you going to be switching it up a little bit, or how are you approaching?
We don't know what's really going to happen in the future. Like we can't really say what's going to happen next month. We can't say what's going to happen in 2 or 3 or 4. But I'm taking it one day at a time. I'm not changing much. I'm just working as hard as I can today, tomorrow, and the next day. And I'm taking it one day at a time because I can't schedule something I'm not sure it's going to happen or won't happen or will happen. So I feel like 2 or 3 weeks before the event is where I'll start adjusting my training program towards the event. But right now, I'm just training hard, 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 hard as much as possible. My body will have a break those 3 weeks prior to the competition. I'll focus on technique or diet and things like that. So yeah.
And then lastly, before we move on, throughout 2020, how have you seen yourself grow, not just in karate, but mentally as well?
Oh, it's been incredible for me because I feel like mentally I was too weak. Mentally, I would put myself down too much. Mentally, I would, like I said, I'm scared to not be enough. And in 2020, I was able to understand myself more and be like, wow, what I really do, I do a lot. And I train really hard. And I know many people out there train really hard, but I know I train hard. I'm confident in what I'm doing. I'm sure of myself and all that I've learned. You know, I have a group of people behind me. I have a village that support me in more ways that I can even count. And I know I'm not alone. And there's no pressure because there's never been pressure. If I get home after a loss, there was never pressure. It was like, it's okay. You're doing what you love. You keep pushing, keep fighting for it because you never know what's going to happen. And I feel like in this year, I was able to understand myself more, grow more mentally, mature a little bit more because, like I said, I'm still young. But the past year has been incredible for me, an incredible learning experience. Yeah.
Very nice, very nice. So next up, we wanted to ask you specifically about the Paris Olympic Qualifier and the Tokyo Olympics, which is coming up very soon here. But to start off, let's flash back to 2016 when we first found out that karate would be in this year's games. So back in 2016, when it was announced that karate would be introduced as an Olympic sport in Tokyo 2020, what were your initial thoughts? How did your training, your outlook, and your goals change with this news?
Well, I was 18. I was in my journalism class. I was president of journalism club, and I was in my journalism class. And initially, I was like, I'll do 2024. 2024. And I was in my journalism class, and they said, not gonna happen. I gotta, we got this news. We're like, oh, it's not gonna happen in 2024, only 2020. And I was like, I got a call from my teacher, and like being president of journalism club, I can get away with many things. And my sensei called me, and he's like, yo, bro. And I was like, hi, sensei. He's like, 2024 ain't gonna happen. And I was like, yeah. He's like, we need to do 2020. And I was like, yeah. So I wanted to be a lawyer or a doctor because of my family thing. You cannot study to be a lawyer or a doctor and train at the age that I was. Honestly, at the age that I was, being 18, you have to pick one. And at that time, I was like, well, okay, I graduated high school and I went straight to training. My level of karate wasn't good at that time, or not good because I still don't think I'm great or anything, but it wasn't at the level where it is now. And I knew that I had to make many changes. So I went to college. I went to the Miami-Dade Honors College and I studied. And after, I believe, traveling to Japan, Okinawa, traveling then to Guadalajara, traveling to Austria, and traveling to Tokyo, all of 2017 was tough after it was announced. I was trying to go to all these events and it wasn't going to happen. So I was like, okay, after my first year, I was like, no, I can't really do this. I have to focus on just karate. And, there was always a small part of me that really, really believes I'm going to qualify. Even maybe it's just the ignorance of being a kid. Yeah, I'm going to make it anyway. I'm going to make it happen. I'm going to qualify. And as a kid, I still believe it. And as a kid, I was 18 and I believed it. And before I knew it, I won the Pan American Championships. I beat my role model, Antonio Diaz. And everyone was like, yeah, now you have a chance to go to the Olympics. I was like, dude, I've been saying that for the past 3 years. I know. I'm going to make it. I believe in it. Sometimes you believe in something so much that nothing can stop it from you. Like, I can go anywhere. I'm just like, no, it's going to happen. Win or lose, something's going to happen, and I'm going to go. That was always my mentality. And to this day, I still believe in it. Anything that may happen, I still believe I'll make it.
And flash forward, it's now 2021 and the Paris Olympic Qualifier is months away. Clock is counting down. How do you feel going into this event? Are you specifically focusing on anything in order to prepare, or are you just keeping the same kind of training regimen that you've been doing?
So, I just started doing weight training, literally, like with kettlebells in March. And then just in December, I started going to the gym and doing like weights. Because my sensei was never big on weights. He was big on technique because he said weights will get you strong short term. And he didn't want that. He wanted a long-term thing for me. And now that it's right there, short term, hence like a few months, he said, now is your time to do your weights. Now is your time to get stronger short-term wise, because I'm going to get stronger short-term wise. So thankfully, while Grace was here, We have help from one of her strength and conditioning coaches, which is my strength and conditioning coach now, Valerio Ramos. He's from the Philippines, and he helps me get stronger. He's helped me with strength training program, and it's helped a lot. So right now, what I'm doing is just, like I said, my goal is to qualify for the Olympics, and I've grown mentally, I've grown physically, technically as well. So I feel like I'm taking it one day at a time. As long as I improve every day, I'll be fine. And when the time comes, when the Olympic qualifier approaches, I feel like I'll be the best version of myself, and I'll leave all of the years, all the pain, all the hard work, everything I've done, I'll leave it right then and there on the mat. And hopefully everything goes how it's supposed to.
As you just said, your goal is to qualify. So as I was just going to ask you, prior to both of these events, the Olympic qualifier and the Tokyo Olympics, what are you saying that you are most hoping to accomplish? What goals have you set for yourself, and how are you measuring success this year?
Well, my goal is to qualify for the Olympics. After that, I can't waste my time thinking about that. There's too many factors, and if after Olympics, before Olympics, there's nothing because I haven't qualified. Mm-hmm. So I can't think about that, and I haven't thought about it. Every day I wake up and it's Olympics, and not in a stressful way. It's not go Olympics. No, it's more like it's something that I love, and I'll make it happen. It's a great day to do what I love, and I'm fighting for my dream. So after past qualifying for the Olympics, I haven't thought about it. I really want to qualify and make it there. And after I qualify, we can think of I'll have a month to think everything after that.
Yeah. On a much dimmer note, as of right now, karate, as you said, will no longer be an Olympic sport following the games this year. What impact has this had on you, your training, and your Olympic dreams overall?
None. My dream from day one was to qualify for 20. After it was canceled the first time back in high school, 2016. After they said it won't happen in 2024, I believed it. I took it like it's not gonna happen. Now they said it really won't happen, but they said it really won't happen like 30 times after. So after the first time they said it really won't happen, I made up my mind and I said I'm gonna make it in 2020. So after they said it will happen in 2024, I was like, okay, I just wanted to make it 2020. It's fine. But something that like I said, through maturing and time was I wanted to stop after the Olympics and just focus on my life. But and then I said, nah, I want to be world champion. So I guess I won't stop until I become world champion. Or I have to try at least to become world champion, because as a kid, all I wanted to do was be world champion. When I got older, they said Olympics. So now I want to do Olympics. But after Olympics, I can't stop until I become world champion.
Mm-hmm. And then reflecting back on your career as a whole, what would you consider to be your biggest accomplishment so far?
I mean, in less than a year, I became top 10 in the world. I went from being 285 in 1 year, top 10. I went from getting bronze in Pan Americans to then winning Pan Americans to losing to literally almost everyone in every competition to then beating all the people I admired at least once. If you take the top 10 in the world right now, I've only haven't beaten 2 people. You see? Which was Quintero, the Spaniard guy, and Kuna, the Japanese guy. But everyone after that, everyone that's ahead of me, I've beaten them at least once, twice, 3 times. So, yeah.
And then can you name something that you've learned through karate and your training that you take with you off of the mat?
Keep yourself composed, control yourself. Something I learned from karate is just be you, be yourself, and harbor your emotions. Emotions are a beautiful thing, and it can hurt you and it can help you. Angry, you can show those emotions and transmit them in your kata and make it stronger. Happy, you can transmit them. Joy, anything you feel, you can transmit. Any situation you're in, you can control your emotions. You're probably better off. You can show people. You can make someone feel better the way you respond to them or the way you talk to them. You can make them feel special. You can make them feel happy. You can just be like, wow, I'm in a good mood after talking to this person. And through karate, I've been able to really hone that skill. You know, I feel like I've been able to control the way the vibe, the feeling I give off, whether it's kata, whether it's a conversation or things like that. So that's something I got from karate, being able to control and project. That's the word I was looking for. There we go. Project my emotions onto people. Whether it's karate, that feeling of wanting to win, that urge, that whoa, that got. I don't know what I'm looking at. You might not know karate, and you can look at it, and you can be like, I can tell this dude really wants to win. It gives me goosebumps, and I try to project that, whether it's conversation, daily life, trust. The moment I shake someone's hand, when I teach their son, their daughter, it's like, thank you very much. There's a sense of projection, of trust. You know, I can project my feeling, my intention, whether it's the feeling to the projection to teach, the projection to win, or anything. Yeah.
Awesome. And then last, but certainly not least, what would your advice be to athletes who are just getting involved in karate?
I mean, hey, as long as you love it and you're enjoying it, I know I did, keep at it, you know. And if, depending on what your goal is, you know, people do karate, maybe they want to become world champion. Maybe they want to get their black belt. Maybe they want to learn how to defend themselves. Maybe they want to learn how to stand up for themselves or just grow confidence. Or, you know, karate teaches you so many things. And many people enter karate for many reasons. As a whole, over the past 18 years I've been doing karate, I've learned about character, compassion for others, respect, honor, integrity, never giving up, discipline, you know, all these things that if you stick with karate, you'll learn and you can take on to your daily life. So at least, you know, I suggest all these kids that are studying karate around, don't give up. Try to push towards your black belt. After you get your black belt, continue with your life. If you can, keep doing karate, because the lessons you learn in karate are lessons you'll take with you and apply in the rest of your life. You know, these are things that you will use forever, whether it's defending yourself, your family, the way you carry yourself, the way you speak to others, the way you can communicate, because there are many things I didn't learn in school that I learned in karate, whether it's presentation, the way I walk, the way I talk, the way I carry myself as a whole. I was always able to be a leader to others because of karate. Yeah.
Very well said. Thank you, Ariel. And
Thank you.
before we wrap up, is there anything else that you'd like to share with everyone, either about yourself, karate, or just any shout outs that you have?
I mean, about myself, I don't know. I can't say much. A shout out, obviously, to my mom and dad. My mom's works many jobs to always get me where I am now. My mom is blind by one eye, and she sacrificed everything when I was a kid to get me where I am now. My dad, you know, we came to this country very poor, and he did everything he could to help us out. My sister inspired me, and above all, my sensei Robert Young, where he let me train with him for free, knowing the situation my family's in. He taught me for years. I think he taught me for I don't know, a long time. He taught me for like 13 years nonstop without me paying him, because he knew all the situations that my family was going through, and he knew that I really loved it, and he shaped my life the way it is now. My sensei Robert Young, he was able to guide me in a way that I can live with karate forever. He taught me so many values that I wouldn't learn anywhere: how to treat others, how to understand people, about character, compassion, all these things I never understood. I even gave a second thought to. He taught me not only karate, but he taught me how to be a good member to society, a good contributing member to the world. And huge shout out to my sensei, Robert Young, for everything he's done for me. Yeah.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much, Ariel, for being here and for sharing everything with everyone today. We really appreciate you coming on, and good luck in 2021. We're so excited to see what you accomplish this year.
Thank you so much. It was a pleasure to be here.